The bustling spaceport of Letheria Prime was alive with sound and color. Ships of all shapes and sizes zipped through the docks, their engines humming in a complex symphony. Humans, aliens, and hybrid species moved through the corridors, trading goods, sharing stories, or simply rushing to their next mission. Among them, Captain Alex Mercer, a human pilot with a reputation for wit and daring, walked confidently through the crowd, his hands tucked casually in his jacket pockets. Alex was tall, lean, and had the kind of easy charm that made people smile even before he spoke. His brown eyes sparkled with mischief, and his grin suggested he was always thinking of a joke, or sometimes trouble. Today he was here on a simple business trip, negotiating a cargo deal with a Letherian merchant. Simple, boring, and routine, or so he thought. As he approached the merchant's booth, his attention was caught by a group of guards moving with disciplined precision. Behind them walked a figure unlike any he had ever seen, a Letherian princess. Her skin shimmered with a soft golden hue, and her long silver hair flowed like liquid metal in the light. Her eyes, large and violet, scanned the crowd with curiosity and intelligence. Every step she took carried a grace that commanded attention. But there was also something human about her expression. A hint of humor, a spark of curiosity. Alex, who prided himself on keeping a cool head, felt his breath catch. "Well," he muttered under his breath. This just got interesting. The princess noticed him immediately. Perhaps it was the bold human who didn't bow or avert his gaze, or maybe it was just her natural curiosity. Either way, their eyes met for a fraction of a second, and something unspoken passed between them. Then, with a polite nod to her guards, she turned and continued down the corridor. Alex shook his head, laughing quietly. Of course. Just my luck. He had a habit of finding trouble, or trouble finding him. He finally reached the merchant, a tall alien with 6 arms and a long, scaled neck. "Captain Mercer," the merchant greeted. "You're right on time." "I try," Alex replied with a grin. "Now let's talk about the shipment." The negotiations began as usual. Numbers, dates, and delivery protocols. Alex was skilled at these talks, balancing charm and sharp thinking to get the best deal. Yet even as he discussed cargo logistics, his mind kept drifting back to the princess. Who was she? Why was she here? And why, of all things, had her glance felt so personal? Before he could dwell too long, a loud commotion erupted nearby. A group of Letherian children had knocked over a display of floating artifacts, sending them spinning through the air. Merchants shouted, guards rushed, and the children squealed in delight. Alex, ever the opportunist, dashed forward to catch a falling orb, tripping slightly as he did. And then it happened. He collided, quite literally, with the same princess. "Oh," he exclaimed, steadying her with a quick hand on her arm. "I'm so sorry." The princess looked down at him, her violet eyes widening slightly. And then, to Alex's utter astonishment, she blushed. It's fine," she said softly, her voice like a melodic chime, and then in a whisper that only he could hear, she added, "Yes, baby." Alex froze. For a moment he thought he had misheard. "Wait, what?" he asked, though the princess was already stepping back with a polite yet amused smile. "You heard me?" she said, tilting her head slightly. Her blush lingered, but her eyes sparkled with humor. "It is fine." Alex could only stare. He had dealt with diplomats, warlords, merchants, and even pirates, but never had an alien princess whispered something like that to him. His mind scrambled for a witty response, but all he managed was a sheepish grin. "Well, okay then," he said, scratching the back of his neck. "Not what I expected today, but okay." The princess laughed quietly, a sound that made the chaos around them fade. "You are interesting, human," she said. Then with a graceful nod to her guards, she moved on. Alex watched her go, his heart still racing. He wasn't sure what had just happened, but he knew one thing. This encounter would change everything. Later, as he walked back to his ship, Alex tried to rationalize the situation. "It's a joke," he muttered to himself. "It has to be. She's royalty. She doesn't," and yet the warmth of her whisper lingered in his mind. The corner of her smile, the blush on her cheeks, it was real. She had genuinely reacted. Back aboard the Star Strider, his sleek human freighter, Alex leaned against the control panel, staring at the stars streaking past. He had faced danger in asteroid belts, escaped pirate ambushes, and negotiated with some of the galaxy's trickiest traders. But this was uncharted territory. He replayed the moment over and over. each time noticing details he hadn't seen before. The slight tilt of her head, the way her eyes softened, the humor hiding behind her royal composure. "I can't let this go," he whispered. "I need to know more." The next day, Alex returned to the hub, this time with a plan. He moved through the crowd more cautiously, eyes scanning for the princess. When he finally spotted her, she was walking among the guards, examining a display of interstellar maps. She noticed him immediately and raised an eyebrow, clearly amused by his persistence. Alex approached, hands raised in a non-threatening gesture. "Captain Alex Mercer," he said, bowing slightly in a mock royal fashion. "And you are?" "The most fascinating alien I have ever met." Kalara, the princess, tilted her head, her lips curving into a playful smile. "Bold words, human. Most of your kind stumble over words in my presence." "I'm not most humans," Alex replied smoothly with a wink. "Besides, I like a challenge." Her laughter rang out, drawing a few curious glances from nearby merchants. "A challenge, you say? Very well. Then perhaps you can assist me." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Assist you?" "Oh, now we're getting interesting. What kind of assistance are we talking about?" Kalara leaned slightly closer, her violet eyes locking onto his. "I need someone clever, daring, and amusing. Someone who can handle a little chaos without losing their head." Alex felt his grin widen. "That's me. I check all 3 boxes." She nodded, her expression serious for a moment. "Then follow me. But remember, human, one wrong move and you may find yourself in more trouble than you can imagine." Alex saluted playfully. "I live for trouble, princess." And with that, he followed her through the crowded hub, unaware that this simple act of following a princess would lead him into adventures he could never have imagined. Adventures filled with danger, humor, and the unexpected warmth of interstellar companionship. By the time the sun, or what passed for a sun on Letheria Prime, set over the glowing city, Alex knew that his life had changed forever. A simple joke, a whispered phrase, and the blush of an alien princess had thrown him into a story that would test his courage, his wit, and perhaps even his heart. He smiled to himself as he looked at the stars. "Well, Kalara, you've got my attention. Let's see where this goes." And somewhere in the heart of the Letherian capital, the princess glanced back at him, a small, knowing smile on her lips. The morning on Letheria Prime began with a soft golden glow as the twin suns rose over the bustling city. Captain Alex Mercer woke aboard the Starstrider, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. Last night's encounter with Princess Kalara replayed in his mind like a movie he couldn't pause. Her blush, her whisper, and that mysterious sparkle in her violet eyes had unsettled him in a way few humans ever could. Alex stretched and leaned over the control panel, checking his ship's systems. Today was supposed to be a simple day. He had business to finish and then planned to leave the planet. But the moment he thought of Kalara, he realized that his life was no longer on a simple path. A new adventure, one that did not rely on cargo or credits, was calling. As he exited the ship and made his way to the city center, he noticed the differences between humans and Letherians everywhere. The architecture was fluid and organic, with buildings shaped like waves or spirals. Hovering vehicles zipped silently above the streets, and Letherians of all shapes and sizes moved gracefully among humans and other species. Every movement seemed deliberate, precise, and elegant. It was beautiful, but alien. Alex had learned quickly that Letherian culture was nothing like human culture. Politeness was formal and layered, and humor was rare among nobles. A joke, especially a bold one, could be misinterpreted as arrogance or worse, disrespect. Yet here was Kalara, a royal who had blushed at his flippant, "Hey, babe." That single act made Alex more curious than ever. As he approached the palace gates, he saw Kalara waiting near a courtyard. Today she wore a flowing robe that shimmered with shifting colors, and her long silver hair was braided in an intricate pattern. She smiled at him, a playful, inviting smile that made his stomach twist in anticipation. "Captain Mercer," she said, her voice calm, yet teasing. "You've returned. I did not expect it so soon." "I didn't expect to be thinking about Letheria this much," Alex replied honestly. "But some things, well, they stick with you." Kalara tilted her head. "I see. You are very direct for a human, bold and amusing." She gestured toward the palace gates. Come, I will show you something important. Inside the palace, the differences became even more pronounced. The walls were alive with subtle movement, glowing symbols shifting in patterns that seemed to tell stories. Alex couldn't help but whistle. Humans build straight lines and corners. You guys make art of everything. Kaylara's violet eyes sparkled. We value precision and beauty. A straight line is too predictable. The day began quietly aboard the Starstrider, Alex's human freighter. The soft hum of the engines and the gentle sway of the ship were comforting, a rare calm before the storm he instinctively knew was coming. Alex had spent the morning checking cargo, tuning the navigation systems, and trying to focus on routine tasks. But he couldn't stop thinking about Princess Kaylara. She had invited him to the palace again last night, and he had arrived early, knowing that today would be different. Something in her eyes had hinted at urgency, a secret she was ready to share. When he reached the palace, Kaylara was already waiting in the main hall, her violet eyes scanning a holographic star map. "Captain Mercer," she said, her voice calm but urgent. "I'm glad you came. I have a matter of great importance and I need your help." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Help with what exactly? Smuggling moon rocks? Negotiating peace with pirates?" Kaylara shook her head, though a small smile curved her lips. "Nothing so simple. A rogue faction has stolen critical Letherian technology. If they succeed, it could destabilize not only Letheria but nearby human colonies as well. I need someone who can think outside our traditional methods, someone who can act quickly and unpredictably." Alex leaned against the table, studying the star map. "And you want me? Because I'm human?" Kaylara's gaze was steady. "Yes. Humans have qualities we admire: resourcefulness, humor, boldness. I trust you, Alex. I believe you can help me retrieve this technology before it falls into the wrong hands." Alex felt a thrill of excitement. This was no ordinary mission. This was real danger, mixed with the kind of opportunity that could make legends. "All right," he said finally, "count me in. But we'll need a plan." Kaylara's smile widened. "Good. I had hoped you would say that." They moved quickly to the palace hangar where Alex's ship waited. The Starstrider gleamed in the ambient light, its hull reflecting the colors of the palace's crystal walls. Kaylara stepped aboard, her movement fluid and deliberate as if she belonged on a spaceship. "Never been on a human freighter?" Alex asked, leaning casually against the control panel. Kaylara's violet eyes scanned the ship, taking in the blinking consoles and sleek lines. "I have observed many ships, but none like this. Humans create tools for convenience, not just ceremony." "Efficient," Alex chuckled. "You'll get used to it. Just don't touch anything red. It's very sensitive." Once aboard, Kaylara revealed what she knew about the rogue faction. They had stolen a device called the Chrono Relic, a piece of Letherian technology capable of manipulating localized gravity fields. In the wrong hands, it could wreak havoc on entire colonies. The rogue group was hiding in an abandoned asteroid base on the outskirts of the Orcs cluster. Alex studied the coordinates on the holographic map. "Abandoned asteroid base," he muttered. "Sounds perfect for traps, ambushes, and bad lighting. Just my style." Kaylara raised an eyebrow. "I hoped you would appreciate the challenge." They set course for the Orcs cluster, traveling through space with practiced precision. The journey gave Alex a chance to observe Kaylara in a more relaxed environment. She was curious about human customs, why he joked even in serious moments, why he slept in shifts instead of following strict schedules, and why he sometimes improvised when faced with danger. "You humans are unpredictable," she said one evening, leaning against the ship's observation window as stars streaked past. Alex grinned. "Unpredictable keeps life interesting. Besides, predictability gets boring fast." Kaylara's violet eyes sparkled. "And yet I find it refreshing." Their conversations were playful yet layered with mutual respect. Kaylara appreciated Alex's courage and ingenuity, while Alex admired her intelligence and determination. The whispered words, the playful glances, the shared laughter, they had become a private language, a connection that grew stronger with each passing day. As they neared the Orcs cluster, Alex began scanning the asteroid field. "We'll need to be careful," he said. "These rocks are unstable and rogue factions love ambushes." Kaylara nodded. "Agreed. But if we approach carefully, using stealth and misdirection, we can gain the advantage. You with your human unpredictability and I with Letherian precision should be able to succeed." Alex smirked. Then it's a good thing we're a team. The asteroid base appeared as a dark silhouette against the glowing nebula, jagged and imposing. Alex maneuvered the Starstrider through narrow gaps between floating rocks, avoiding detection. Kaylara monitored the base's defenses, pointing out weak points and suggesting unconventional strategies. Over there, she whispered, pointing to a shadowed docking bay. Sensors are low. We can slip inside undetected if we move quickly. Alex nodded, feeling the familiar rush of adrenaline. Let's do it. They docked the ship carefully and Alex led the way, moving through the dark corridors with Kaylara following closely. The rogue faction had underestimated the human-alien pair. Their movements were swift, coordinated, and precise. Alex used improvisation to bypass laser grids, while Kaylara's knowledge of Letherian technology allowed them to disable security systems efficiently. Human improvisation is fascinating, Kaylara whispered as Alex used a magnetic grappling hook to swing across a gap. Thanks, Alex replied, grinning. And your precision is terrifyingly useful. Finally, they reached the inner chamber where the chrono relic floated inside a containment field. A group of rogue operatives was present, guarding the device. Alex and Kaylara exchanged a glance, silent communication that spoke of trust and shared instinct. Ready? Alex asked. Kaylara nodded. Always. In a flurry of coordinated action, Alex distracted the operatives with clever maneuvers and quick thinking, while Kaylara disabled the containment field with a delicate manipulation of the device's energy matrix. Within minutes, the chrono relic was in their possession. But just as they were about to leave, alarms blared. Reinforcements were on the way. Alex and Kaylara had to improvise once again, using a combination of human daring and Letherian skill to escape. Hovering platforms, hidden passages, and quick thinking allowed them to evade capture. Back aboard the Starstrider, both were breathless but triumphant. Kaylara looked at Alex with admiration and a faint blush. You are remarkable, human. Without your courage, this mission would have failed. Alex grinned, brushing back a strand of hair. And without your skills, I'd probably still be trapped in a corridor somewhere. We make a good team, Kaylara smiled softly. Indeed. Perhaps more than a team. Alex felt a warmth spread through him. Perhaps, he said, leaning back in his chair. He realized that their connection went beyond adventure and danger. It was trust, respect, and something else. Something neither of them could quite name yet. As they plotted a course back to Letheria Prime, Alex glanced at Kaylara. You know, he said casually, if we survive more missions like this, people might start calling us legends. Kaylara laughed softly, the sound bright and genuine. Let them talk. What matters is that we have succeeded and survived. Alex smiled, thinking of the playful whisper from their first meeting. Yes, baby. That simple phrase had started it all, and now after danger, laughter, and shared triumph, it felt more meaningful than ever. The Starstrider glided through the stars, carrying its human and Letherian passengers home. The mission had tested their courage, skill, and teamwork. It had also strengthened a bond that neither could deny. And as the twin suns of Letheria Prime rose on the horizon, Alex knew that more adventures awaited. There would be challenges, dangers, and surprises, but with Kaylara at his side, he felt ready for anything because sometimes the right combination of human daring and alien wisdom could change the course of worlds and hearts. The journey back to Letheria Prime was quiet but tense. Alex sat in the pilot seat of the Starstrider, hands lightly resting on the controls as he kept an eye on the swirling nebulae ahead. Kaylara stood beside the observation window, her violet eyes reflecting the starlight. For a long moment, neither spoke. The recent mission had left both of them exhilarated and exhausted, yet there was an unspoken question lingering between them. What else did Kaylara know that she hadn't shared? Finally, Kaylara broke the silence. Alex, there is something you should know. Something I have kept from everyone, even my closest advisors. Alex raised an eyebrow. You've got my full attention. What is it? Kaylara moved closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. The chrono relic is only one part of a much larger secret. There is an ancient Letherian artifact older than our civilization. It is powerful, too powerful to be misused, and I have knowledge of its location. Alex's eyes widened. You mean it could be dangerous? Kaylara nodded. Yes. In the wrong hands, it could destroy worlds, or worse, destabilize entire star systems. That is why I cannot reveal it to anyone else. They would either try to take it for themselves or attempt to control me. Alex felt the weight of her words. And you trust me. Why? Kaylara turned, her gaze meeting his. Because you are human. You act on instinct, not just rules. You have courage, humor, and something else. I trust you to understand the importance of secrecy and to act wisely. Alex swallowed, feeling both honored and nervous. I won't let you down, Kaylara. Whatever it is, we'll protect it together. Her violet eyes softened and she smiled faintly. I believe that, Alex. As the Starstrider glided through space, Alex and Kaylara spent the following hours preparing for the return to Lith, the political CIE. The Starstrider glided silently through the void, its sleek hull reflecting the distant starlight. Captain Alex Mercer tightened his grip on the controls, eyes scanning the dark expanse ahead. Beside him, Princess Kaylara studied the holographic map, her violet eyes sharp and focused. They were approaching the rogue faction's main base, hidden deep within the asteroid belt of the Orin cluster, a treacherous labyrinth of rocks and abandoned stations. This is it, Kaylara said quietly. The base is heavily guarded. If we are detected, it could be fatal. Alex gave a confident grin. Then we won't be detected. I have a few tricks up my sleeve. Kaylara raised an eyebrow. I hope your human tricks are as clever as you claim. Alex chuckled. They usually are, at least when I'm alive to see them work. The base loomed ahead, a massive structure of dark metal clinging to a jagged asteroid. Turrets glinted in the dim light, and patrol drones buzzed through the corridors. Alex maneuvered the Starstrider through narrow gaps between floating rocks, dodging patrols and incoming sensors. Kaylara's hand hovered over the console, adjusting shields and tracking enemy movements. You're good at this, Kaylara said. Better than I expected, Alex smirked. Years of experience outrunning pirates and smugglers. Nothing like a rogue alien faction to keep a pilot sharp. As they approached the docking bay, Alex activated a stealth field, rendering the Starstrider nearly invisible to sensors. They slipped inside the base undetected, the dark corridors stretching out like a maze. Kaylara moved silently, her movements precise and graceful. Alex followed, blending human improvisation with careful observation. Their mission was simple but dangerous. Retrieve the Chrono Relic and the ancient Litherian artifact, then escape before reinforcements arrived. But simple missions were never simple with rogue factions. Every corner could hide enemies, every shadow a trap. As they neared the inner chamber, alarms suddenly blared. A rogue operative had spotted them. Alex and Kaylara exchanged a glance, wordless but full of understanding. Time for Plan B, Alex whispered. Kaylara nodded. Agreed. Human improvisation and Litherian precision. Now. Alex led the way, using his agility and quick thinking to dodge laser turrets and patrols. Kaylara followed, manipulating the base's energy conduits to disable traps and create diversions. The corridors echoed with shouts, footsteps, and the hum of security drones, but their coordination was flawless. When they reached the inner chamber, the artifacts floated in containment fields, surrounded by armed operatives. Alex whispered, I'll handle the distraction. You disable the fields. Kaylara nodded, moving gracefully to the control panel. Alex stepped into view, firing a small energy flare that bounced off the walls, drawing the operative's attention. His movements were quick, unpredictable, and theatrical, a perfect human improvisation. Too slow, he shouted, ducking behind a pillar as a laser volley passed by. Kaylara's hands flew over the panel, her fingers dancing across controls with precision. The containment fields flickered, then deactivated, freeing the artifacts. Alex lunged forward, grabbing both and tucking them safely into a secure pack. The operatives recovered quickly, firing in unison. Alex and Kaylara ducked behind cover, exchanging quick glances. We need a way out, Alex shouted. Kaylara's violet eyes scanned the room. The ventilation shaft, this way. They sprinted toward a narrow shaft, Alex boosting Kaylara up with human strength while she extended her hand to pull him along. They slid into the shaft just as reinforcements poured into the chamber. The vents carried them through a maze of twisting tunnels leading toward the docking bay. Alex paused for a moment, catching his breath. You know, Kaylara, you're faster than you look, Kaylara smirked. And you're louder than I imagined. Try not to get us caught in the next corridor, human. The tunnels opened onto the docking bay where the Starstrider waited. Alex and Kaylara ran toward the ship, pursued by drones and operatives. Alex activated the ship's anti-gravity boosters, allowing them to leap onto the hull. Kaylara followed, her movements precise and elegant despite the chaos. Ready for takeoff? Alex shouted over the comms. Kaylara nodded, sliding into the co-pilot seat. Let's leave these rogues behind. With a roar, the Star Strider lifted off, dodging incoming fire from turreted platforms. Alex weaved through the asteroid field, using every bit of skill he had to avoid collisions. Kaylara monitored sensors, calling out weak points in enemy formations, her voice calm and commanding. Together, human improvisation and Letherian precision worked perfectly. They evaded the pursuing forces, dodged asteroids, and finally entered open space. The rogue faction's base shrank behind them, now just another obstacle conquered. Alex exhaled, his grin wide. We made it. I didn't think it would be this intense. Kaylara's violet eyes sparkled with a mix of relief and admiration. You did well, human. Your improvisation saved us more than once, Alex shrugged. Teamwork, princess. We make a good team. Kaylara's lips curved into a faint smile, a blush coloring her cheeks. Indeed, perhaps more than a team. The Star Strider sped toward Letheria Prime, carrying its precious cargo and 2 heroes who had survived impossible odds. Alex couldn't help but glance at Kaylara, thinking of all the moments they had shared, the jokes, the whispered phrases, and the unspoken trust that had grown between them. You know, Alex said casually, leaning back in his seat. We make escaping rogue factions look easy. Kaylara laughed softly. Do we? I must admit, human, you are very clever in dangerous situations. Alex smiled. And you're very clever in general, princess. I'm lucky to have you as my partner. Kaylara's blush deepened and she looked away for a moment, her violet eyes thoughtful. Luck favors the brave, Alex, and perhaps the daring. Alex reached out, lightly brushing her hand in a gesture of friendship and solidarity. Then let's keep being brave, together. As they approached Letheria Prime, the twin suns cast golden light across the city. News of their mission spread quietly through the palace channels, but Kaylara and Alex remained cautious. They knew that political rivals were watching, waiting for any sign of weakness. Once safely docked, Kaylara led Alex to a secluded garden within the palace. The artifacts were secured in a vault beneath the palace, monitored by the most advanced Letherian technology. You have done more than I could have hoped, Alex, Kaylara said softly. Not just with the mission, but with everything. Your courage, your humor, your unpredictability. It has changed the outcome. Alex grinned, feeling the warmth of her words. I couldn't have done it without you, Kaylara. You're brilliant, precise, and somehow terrifyingly good at everything. Kaylara laughed, a sound that made Alex's chest feel lighter. And you, human, are reckless, but effective. I see now why I trusted you. The shared smiles, the lingering glances, and the playful energy between them marked a moment of victory, not just over the rogue faction, but over fear and doubt. They had faced impossible odds, relied on each other's strengths, and emerged stronger. As the sun set over Letheria Prime, Alex realized that their adventures had created a bond that went beyond mission and duty. Trust, respect, and shared humor had woven a connection neither could ignore. Kaylara turned to him, violet eyes soft. We have survived today, Alex, and perhaps we have started something greater, something that could last beyond this mission. Alex smiled, thinking of the first day they met, the whispered phrase, the blush, and the playful connection that had grown into something deeper. I hope so, Kaylara. I really hope so. The palace lights reflected on the golden pathways as they walked together side by side. For Alex and Kaylara, the mission was over. But their journey had only just begun. They had faced danger, intrigue, and enemies, yet in the process, they had discovered courage, trust, and a bond that transcended worlds. And somewhere between human daring and Letherian wisdom, between whispered phrases and laughter shared intense moments, a new story began, one of friendship, respect, and perhaps the hint of something more. The twin suns of Letheria Prime rose over the city, casting warm golden light on the spires of the palace. Captain Alex Mercer and Princess Kaylara stood on the balcony overlooking the bustling capital. The air was filled with the quiet hum of hovercrafts and the distant chatter of citizens, a stark contrast to the chaos they had faced just days ago. Alex leaned against the railing, stretching his arms and enjoying the calm. I have to admit, Kaylara, It feels strange to be here and not dodging lasers or escaping rogue factions. Kalara smiled, her violet eyes reflecting the sunlight. Yes, peace is a rare gift, one that we must cherish, and one that we earned together. Alex glanced at her, thinking about how much had changed since their first encounter. From the playful blush and whispered words to daring missions and shared victories, their connection had grown stronger, richer, and unexpected. It was more than trust, it was friendship, respect, and something tender, subtle, and powerful between them. The Palace Council is waiting, Kalara said, turning slightly. They want to officially recognize your contribution. Humans rarely receive such honors here. Alex laughed softly. I suppose I should be honored. Or nervous. Or maybe both. Kalara touched his arm gently. You have earned it, Alex. Not just because of your courage, but because of your loyalty, your intelligence, and your heart. We could not have succeeded without you. Alex felt a way in his chest. Thanks, Kalara. That means